Hi, small business owners. It's Angie Knoll from Reconciled Solutions. For the past few weeks, we've been helping small business owners trying to navigate the choppy waters of economic crisis and been acting as business advisors. One of the topics that's really keeps coming up and that I've spent my last 2 weeks working with clients on is loan forgiveness for the PPP loans, and it's confusing. It's not straightforward. Um, in fact, last week on May 1st, the SBA issued the sixth interim final forgiveness guidelines. Sixth interim final forgiveness guidelines. So obviously, the SBA did as good as they could, as quickly as they could, but there's been a lot of changes that have had to keep coming out. And because of it, small business owners are scrambling to make sure that they are following, the latest guidelines. And we're here to help you do it. I have 3 points that I'm going to cover today, 3 things that has come up for me in the past week of checking in on clients. The first is for the small business owner who is a single member LLC filing as a Schedule C, or the sole proprietor filing as a Schedule C with employees. So if you have received a PPP loan and you are a single member LLC or a sole proprietor who files on a Schedule C, and you have both employees and you're paying yourself, the one thing I wanted to point out is that the owner's wages in PPP loan forgiveness is based on that Schedule C, and you need to look at line 31 on your tax return to see what the owner took as payroll for their business. Okay, so that's number 1 point. Number 2, so far it's really unclear about this full-time equivalent head count with regards to the date range. So the SBA has been very clear that we need to spend our money within 8 weeks of receiving it. So from the time the PPP money drops into your account until 8 weeks later, that's the time in which there's this opportunity for loan forgiveness. And if you've spent it for these qualified things, then you're going to be able to have loan forgiveness. However, there is some rub there, and it just hasn't been made clear yet. Not to say that it won't be made clear in the future, maybe on the 7th or 8th or 12th interim final forgiveness guidelines, but at this point, we still don't know as it relates to folks that had received the money, the PPP money, prior to May 4th, the week of May 4th. So if you received money prior to the week of May 4th, the thing that is going to be happening is that your 8-week window of opportunity will run out before June 30th. So then there's this interim period in which you would likely need to maintain your head count, because they're comparing what the wages for your company were on February 15th of 2020 to June 30th of 2020. Okay, so for instance, if you got your loan on 4/20/2020, the money dropped into the account, then your 8-week window to spend that money to qualify for loan forgiveness is over on 6/15/2020. But so far, the guidelines have stated that you need to maintain the full-time equivalent head count, employee count, that you had for your business on 2/15/2020 in comparison to 6/30/2020. So for the business owner who received the funding on 4/20, that means that they will have their 8-week window over on 6/15, and that time between 6/16 and 6/30 is kind of a gray zone. So what I've been advising my clients, because the Treasury has not been specific about this yet, is to err on the safe side. We want to make sure we have enough money in our business to continue that full-time equivalent headcount through June 30th of 2020, just so that there is no opportunity for you not to qualify for your maximum loan forgiveness. Okay, and again, this is going to be impacting people who would have received their money prior to May 4th. If you received the money after May 4th, it won't really impact you very much. The third thing I wanted to bring up today is that expenses paid with forgiven PPP loan proceeds, they are not going to be deductible as they usually are. So normally if you pay your rent, it goes on your profit and loss, and it's an expense to the business. But now during this PPP period, the government has given you this money, and if you've qualified for loan forgiveness, so if you qualified for a chunk of loan forgiveness, that is not a deductible expense. So if we were allowed to receive untaxed income / forgiven loans and to deduct the expense that you paid for with the loan, it's really kind of a double tax benefit. It's kind of double dipping. So the government will not allow this. So I just wanted folks to be aware of that. So yeah, there's a lot of little nuances to this PPP loan forgiveness calculation. And if you are in a situation where you have some things that you're just unclear about, it's just not this straightforward, I'm going to have more than 75% of my PPP money towards payroll and 25% on utilities, rent, or mortgage expense. If it's not clear cut for your company, which it isn't for a lot of people, feel free to give us a call. We're helping people with this stuff. And it's good to know, because we want to make sure that you get every penny of loan forgiveness that you're entitled to. We want to make sure that you have all the documentation necessary to manage and to stay on top of this so that you can submit it when it's needed. We're making sure that we're staying on top of the rules, since the rules kind of keep changing. We don't think that a small business owner should be focused on changing rules at this time. We want you to be out being focused on trying to find different revenue sources or different ways to keep your business in business right now. So if you're struggling with the loan forgiveness piece of it, give us a call. And honestly, I just think it would help you sleep better at night to kind of know that you've done everything you can to qualify for maximum loan forgiveness. Thank you. Have a great day. It's Angie Knoll from Reconciled Solutions.